Today we have another gardening extravaganza. What's up and what's glorious, guys? It is your host with the most, Paul Plant 2, reminding you that Earth is my planet.
Earth is my planet.
So first and foremost, before we get started, I just want to thank each and every one of you guys who helped me reach 10,000 subscribers for a brand new baby infinitesimal channel. That definitely does mean the world. So welcome to everyone who is new. Welcome to everyone who's been here since the beginning. But today we are having another crazy clearance plant extravaganza where I am going to different garden centers, grabbing some clearance plants here and there, and then throwing them in my yard. I'm telling y'all, man, another day, another dollar live in the clearance section. This is a different Lowe's. We're in Texas City, Texas right now, randomly. I was going to a benefit and I had to stop by Lowe's and benefit my garden with some half off plants. The cart is already loaded down, so I'm gonna show y'all what I have selected that was half off and cool up in here. All right, so the first plants that I grabbed had to be these Mexican bush sages. These are amazing. Pollinators love them. They are native to Texas where I reside, obviously. They are a nice Salvia leucantha. That is their scientific name. They have a ton of these in this size, all 17 bucks, half off. So they're gonna be about $8.50 a pop. Now, I also wanted to throw in some roses just because these knockout roses do look super good and they bloom multiple times. 22 bucks, $11 today. And then I also grabbed this amazing Mandevilla vine, 15.7. Y'all know what it is, little tropical vibes. I could get multiple. They will climb up trees, especially in this tropical climate, but once it gets down below 60 degrees, they will die to the ground. But yeah, I mean, just at this Lowe's, that's 3 amazing plants that I grabbed, all for half off. There are a couple more small ones, but this is what I saw that truly captured my attention, my eye, and that I had to grab up in here. So let's get it. Guys, here we go. Another day, another clearance section, and there are more items that I want to grab for the garden, and they actually have some crazy native species and some pollinator friendly plants. They have a bunch of Turk's cap hibiscus, which I have growing in my backyard, that are insanely huge. So each one of these is 9 bucks, so it's gonna be $4 up in here. They also have more Russian sage. Now this is like a pollinator crack house, all right? Like all the pollinators just go up in it, start tweaking just a little bit. I'm sorry, is that disrespectful to pollinators? But they love this plant, and they have like 5 of them, but this one looks like it's in great health and fitness. So I'm gonna grab this one, and then, I mean, anytime you have, whoa, a large Turk's cap species, or not species, but individual plant like this that's young, healthy, vivacious, you have to grab it. So native plants all day in the Lowe's clearance section. Dude. Okay guys, we might have to finish it off with a couple of these coreopsises, nice native species mounding. Each one of these is gonna be $4 as well. And look, they still have flowers to bust open. This is amazing, man. This is why I hit up the clearance section, bro. All right, so welcome back, my brethren. This is the area that we're conquering today, this little side bed of my garden. And the reason why I am planting all the clearance plants here, as I did in the last episode, if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely be sure to watch it, is because this area has some city lines going through it, and it might actually be city property. Therefore, I don't want to invest a ton of my own money in expensive plants. I'd rather buy plants that are half off and invest in that. So without further ado, let's get some of those plants in the ground. So the first plant we're gonna throw in the ground to start things off with is going to be the biggest plant that I purchased, and that is this knockout rose. Now it's called a knockout rose because it is basically like a double rose, all right? So the flowers just look super stupendous, and it has tons of thorns. I actually just got stabbed in the upper thigh by this guy. But anyways, man, we're gonna put it in the ground because it grows 3 feet by 4 feet. It needs full sun, and this area, as y'all can see, gets full sun. I had a couple of questions about why I'm planting in the daytime and not the nighttime. Well, it's the morning, it's 86 degrees, and by the evening it's gonna be like 97, all right? So I'm just trying to stay as cool as possible, even though it's about impossible out here in Houston, Texas to do so in the sweltering summer. Normally when you would plant this, it would be ideal to do it in the spring or fall, but I mean, we found it in the summertime, so it's going in. It'll have a little bit more stress in terms of water initially, because it is being planted in the summer, but there's only one way to find out what this plant is about, and that's to get it in the ground. All right, so I picked out the perfect spot for this nice knockout rose, which was kind of in front of this vitex tree. I felt like it would fill in nicely being a larger shrub species. And then I started busting through this soil. Now they call this black gumbo because it is extremely hard clay soil. And that is why I use a pickaxe, and because there are an absolute ton of tree roots all up in the way. Like, check this out, guys. I straight dislodged a ginormous oak tree root, and that is why I can't use a normal shovel in this area. All right, guys, so I just delved through a ton of tree roots with the pickaxe, tried to use better technique, and now we're gonna throw in the knockout rose. Now I water all of my plants before I put them in the ground. I water them thoroughly just so they have the best possible chance to stay hydrated. But let's get it in this hole. Okay, so these knockout roses can survive from zones 5 all the way to 10, probably more safely 5 to 9. And you guys can see I'm leaving it a little bit above the natural grade of the soil, about 1 inch. And I am not burying the roots, I'm just covering them with leaf litter to keep them cool in the summer. Oh Lord, man, I need a squeegee. The sweat is flowing profusely. Anyways, the next plants we're throwing in after the knockout are gonna be some of my favorites, man. The Mexican bush sage once again. Now you guys have seen this featured in multiple of my videos. It was actually featured in the last video, but it's very rare that you find a specimen this size for only like $8. So hence why I definitely have to get this dude in for the win. It's gonna be covered in nice purple flowers to really add some contrast and color blast to the reddish pink of the roses. So we're gonna get both of these dudes in. They form a nice kind of like 3.5 by 4 foot by 4 foot type of meatball-esque design. So we'll get them in. All right, so the Salvia leucantha is being placed in the ground to the right of this rose bush, at least to you guys, and I'm gonna put the other one on the left to form ultimately a nice triangular-like shape with these bushes. Now, what I love about the Mexican bush sage is that it is drought tolerant. It has very cool looking leaves, nice colors, and then of course the flowers. Hence why it is a repeat customer on the channel, and because it happened to be on clearance, I'm adding yet another one to the garden. But this is hands down an amazing plant I would recommend for anyone in Texas or from zones 8 through 10 where this guy grows. Now, when you do plant it, you have to water it in. Then it will become drought tolerant as it establishes. All right, and luckily with this plant, it will show you, it will start to weep a little bit and look sad. You just drown it with water and it'll perk right back up to life. But these are what they look like in the ground. And then real quick, here is a completely mature 1-year-old specimen, just so you guys can get an indication of the growth once they're in the ground. Boom, Mexican bush sage is in the ground, and now that I'm a little bit closer to death, it's time to throw in some smaller plants. Thank the Lord, it won't be arduous to dig these tiny holes. But we have this Coreopsis grandiflora in hand right now. We have 2 of these guys. I got only 2 of them because these looked to be in good health, shape, and condition. So yes, these are gonna flank the outskirts of the nice knockout rose and put on quite a yellow show. Guys, this is why we do this for the lizards. I thought this dude tried to self-delete, but luckily he landed on the tripod. Thank the Lord. But back to the lecture at hand, class. We're throwing in the Coreopsis grandiflora, and this is a native bee attractor. Not all bees live in hives, not all bees produce honey, but we still need something for our native solitary bee populations that still pollinate our food, our trees, our bushes, and all of that. And this is definitely a plant to throw in. It grows from Ontario, Canada, all the way down south to Texas. So pretty much any of those zones this dude can be included in. Part shade to full sun, it will thrive in, and it's a perennial. However, sometimes it acts as an annual, but it self-seeds readily, so you will always have a couple more of these guys where you plant them. All right, man, praise God and pass the ammunition. We are on to shade planting, and what we're throwing in is going to be a Turk's cap hibiscus. Okay, so these are some of my favorite, or this is one of my favorite native plants because it can grow in full shade or full sun. It's just in full sun, the leaves look hella droopy and sad, but the flowers definitely pop. I mean, look at that little dude. Look at that little red flower right there looking like a cherry. And those flowers are actually edible. Hold on, let me show y'all, man. I'm about to eat this poor little adolescent flower. All it wants to do is get pollinated, and instead it's gonna get digested. Hold up. Nice. Okay, so if you take the base off, there's a nice little white part right here, and that is super sweet. It's where all the nectar is, and there's actually like dribbles and drips of it all up on here. Oh my God, bro, and it's sweet as hell. It's like God's candy. You can eat the rest if you want. My fingernails are really dirty, so I don't want to get that close to them. But nevertheless, man, edible flowers, you can throw them in salads, just eat them as is. Really cool, nice little pop and burst of flavor. But also, they look really good. All right, so y'all can see, there's one Turk's cap right here, and the other is going right here. Because I got some tree cover in this area that will eventually shade it. The Turk's cap hibiscus is super versatile, hence why it's one of my favorite plants. Like, I am shoving this dude right underneath a giant oak tree, and just look at this specimen. It's so sad how root bound it got at Lowe's, but I was honestly surprised that Lowe's had this native plant stocked all the way up, because usually they lack on the natives, so I'm kind of proud of Lowe's for finally seeing the light and coming around. But nevertheless, man, this is a perfect plant to introduce people to, especially kids who can eat the flowers and have a good time with it. And just for all the lighting conditions, it is an absolutely amazing plant. It grows in zone 7 all the way to 10, so definitely plant this in the shade for the win, and just wait, because in a year or two it will get huge. Like this one in the backyard that I have is 5 feet tall. And all right, so we have ventured into the backyard, and again, this is how big a Turk's cap hibiscus can get. This is like premium real estate. I had no idea that it would do this good in this environment. This particular plant is only 1.5 years old, and it's probably like 4 to 5 feet tall, so that's crazy. But we have one in this corner of the yard, and of course I did purchase 2 of those Turk's cap hibisci, so I'm gonna put the other one way around yonder by the other oak tree. So Turk's cap hibiscus number 2 is in the ground, and it is actually crazy back here, man, that this whole area is truly becoming a forest. Like, I just sat back over here and looked around, and I was like, dang, my backyard is literally turning into a jungle just as planned. Okay, but next up, man, we're gonna throw in one last plant for the Dubsky, and this one I have planted before, and it is the Russian sage. Now this is a pollinator trap house, all right? So you got all types of fiends just coming, going. You got pollen just being whipped up on the stovetop, and this guy is going to go in this bed right over here, because when I walk out the back door, I just want to see pollinators going crazy all up on this dude. And also I am starting a nice wildflower patch over here. That video will be coming soon, probably in a year though, because I want to do it from the day I threw the seeds to a full year of growth, just to see how things go. But I'm going to plug this guy in real quick just to really bring in all the pollinators, especially since I have so many fruit trees and other little veggies growing here and there. But let's get this guy plopped in. All right, the Russian sage is going right in this corner, and y'all can see, man, I truly do piecemeal my garden beds together. These are all fireproof bricks that I got at a knockdown house. But regardless, man, Russian sage grows in zones 5 through 10. It is deciduous, so it will lose its leaves in the winter time, but it's highly drought tolerant once established, and that's why I was going in this sunny little spot. Yo, hold on, bro. Okay, guys, we have the Russian sage in the ground, and this proves I'm a complete idiot, dude. I think I just deadheaded this, and it hadn't even bloomed yet. My God. Hey, that just shows what heat fatigue will do to the brain. Dude, what is wrong with me? I mean, I'm not sure, bruh. It might have flowered, and it might have been trying to flower again. But either way, guys, y'all get to see my mistakes live in the flesh. But hopefully y'all did enjoy another clearance plant gardening extravaganza. Now it is going to be a minute before all of those plants bloom and reach their full potential. But again, you guys have to check the clearance section. They do have them at Lowe's, at Home Depot, at pretty much any pop-in garden center. And yes, if you guys want to support your local growers, definitely be sure to do so as well. But until next time, guys, remember, Earth is my planet. Earth is my planet. Like this video, subscribe if you aren't already, and stay tuned because more videos are coming soon. Peace. Killing these songs, leaving a bloody life by rooster. And I'm in it to win it, so I'm somebody that you should get